Welcome back to The Darkest Files. We streamed the first demo, I think like a year ago. It was part of the Steam Next Fest in February 2023. And I've played the demo also at Gamescom 2022 and 2023. Finally, there's a new demo for The Darkest Files. And there will be a Kickstarter campaign starting next week at or from March 19th. And there's a small recap at the start of the demo, interestingly enough, so you can see what happened in the first demo. Even though the demo isn't available to download anymore, there's only one demo. Maybe that's a Steam thing, but it would be nice to have both demos to play the entire story that is playable so far. If you back the game on Kickstarter from next week, you can also get an early bird bonus, and you can play the entire first act of the game. So can't wait to get my hands on that, but let's see what this demo actually offers. And what the game is actually about. Probably it's best to let the game speak itself. So yeah, there's a story mode and an investigator mode, two different difficulty settings. If you want to enjoy the story, if enjoy is the right word for what we are about to see. And there's also the possibility to do all of the puzzles yourself. So I will do that in the investigator mode. At least that's what I think this is about.
Frankfurt, West Germany, 1956. 11 years after the end of World War II, many crimes of the Nazi era still go unpunished. The perpetrators of these crimes are walking free. Many judges, prosecutors, and police officers have already served under the Nazis. Now they have no interest in prosecuting their former comrades for actions similar to their own. For the victims of these crimes, this is unbearable. To end this, Attorney General Fritz Bauer establishes a special unit of young prosecutors with no ties to the old regime. I am Esther Katz. I am one of these prosecutors. We are investigating Nazi crimes and bringing perpetrators to justice. Not to avenge, not to heal, but to show that there are laws that apply to all. It doesn't make us popular. Most want to forget. Some want us to shut up. But they cannot stop us. Nothing belongs to the past. Everything is still present and can become the future again. Previously on The Darkest Files.
Miss Katz, welcome to the front line. I believe I have the perfect case for you to start with. Hans Naumann, an older gentleman, shot just before the end of the war. According to the victim's wife, her husband was taken by a uniformed man for no reason. I suggest you invite the widow to give a statement.
Mrs. Naumann just arrived. I showed her to the conference room.
I know it's not easy, but please take me through the day your husband was taken.
It was in April '45, only days before the Americans came. Hans was upstairs when the doorbell rang. There were two men. Hans came down and asked them what they wanted. Then everything happened so fast. The small one said they'd let him go if our son would turn himself in. Then they just herded him out, like an animal. This was the last time I saw him alive. Hans was innocent. They killed him, and that's murder, no matter what they call it. Please, Miss Katz, will you find the man?
Paula, I need you to invite a potential witness.
Of course. Who should I reach out to?
Please invite Mr. Kiebitz.
So there we are in the role of XTgamer. So from what I've seen on the Steam page, there won't be a German voiceovers, which is very unfortunate, I think. But maybe it's a stretch goal on their Kickstarter, we will see. But at least there are German texts in the demo already. Yeah, that's how the first demo started as well. This is our office building.
Good morning, Miss Katz. Miss Katz, is there anything I can do for you?
Paula, any new files for me?
I left them on your desk, Miss Katz. Yesterday's transcript is also attached. If you could please read it to see if everything is correct.
Did anybody call me while I wasn't here?
Oh, and there was a call for you. Asked for you to call back. I wrote down the number, left it with the files. I'm afraid he didn't give a name. An older man, I'd say. Sounded very proper, even if he did ignore my questions.
That will be all for now. Thank you, Paula.
Always happy to help.
This is our office. Let's have a look at the case file. That was the first case. So we're probably still playing parts of the first act. But if you want to play the full first act, you need to back it on Kickstarter or wait for the release date, which hasn't really been communicated so far. Probably depends a lot on the success of the Kickstarter. Yeah, you're left a little bit to yourself here in the beginning of this demo. Or maybe I missed something crucial. Wouldn't be the first time. Mr. Vollmut.
The door is locked. Christopher's not in today. The cold from yesterday must have caught up with him. The door is locked.
Okay. That's the only real character, or with a real name, Dr. Fritz Bauer. It wasn't really in preparation of this demo because I didn't know this would exist. But I recently only also watched some movies and TV shows on that subject. And yeah, reminded me how authentic this feels in the first demo at least. Probably I need to head into my office. Let's have a look at the case file again. Background is new. Alright.
Who do I want to call?
He's a telephone joker.
He's not picking up.
Monas Gaststätte. Well, let's talk again to our assistant.
Katz, is there anything I can do for you?
Tell me what I can do.
That'll be all for now. Thank you, Paula.
Always happy to help.
We head into the conference room? No. Maybe I missed something crucial here.
More like somebody's home than a prosecutor's office.
Möbelhaus Dübel. Elton. Oh well. Off to a great start. Let's head back here. That's the only thing I can interact with. Okay, the first witness will come in later today. I added some documents to your case file and there was a man calling for you. He left a number. Fortunately, he hung up before I could get his name. Please ask if you need anything else. That is kind of weird. She could have just told us that. Let's open the tutorial menu. It's been a while. Oh, okay. Get the heads up on everything again. But you don't actually have to go through it if you've played the first demo. That's kind of cool. So now we can dial the number that we magically know now.
Who do I want to call?
Hello?
Father? I didn't expect you'd call me here.
Oh, Esther, my dear, so good to hear you. Did you settle in all right?
It hasn't been the warmest of welcomes, I'm afraid. And the cases, they're tough.
I see. Esther, there's something I want to discuss. Do you remember our little talk? It must have been last month.
Is this about that job at your friend's firm? Bergmann, was it?
Bergmann, Kranich and Partners, yes. Bergmann is one of my oldest friends. Family law, very respectable.
Dad, I just started working for Mr. Bauer.
And the sooner that stops, the better. Esther, let me be very frank with you. I'm proud of you. I really am. A prosecutor at your age, with the view on women on our line of work being what it is, I'd have to be a fool not to. But your mother and I, we are worried. Do you have any idea what they say about Bauer?
He's one of the best prosecutors in the country with a spotless record.
Just as I feared. You must broaden your horizons. Read some other magazines, perhaps. Listen to your father. Leave. Nothing good will come from this.
I'll think about it, Dad.
Please do. I just want what's best for you, Essie.
I know, Dad.
I'm proud of you. I know I already said that, but I really am. Like you can't imagine.
Miss Katz, Mr. Bauer wants to talk to you.
Oh, any idea why?
I am sure he just wants to hear the latest update from you. He also said he wants to make sure you are properly prepared.
Properly prepared? What does he mean by that?
I have a hunch, but it's best to ask him that yourself.
Thank you, Paula. I'll be joining him in a minute.
Yeah, I just checked in on what I actually saw regarding this topic, and I can recommend The People vs. Fritz Bauer. It's a 2015 movie. It tells the story of Fritz Bauer and how he tracks down Adolf Eichmann. And I also watched The Interpreter of Silence, or Deutsches Haus, on Disney+. That plays around the same time as this, I think, 1963. It's about Eva Bruns, who is a translator in the Auschwitz process or court proceedings. Also a very interesting show. Let's talk to Fritz.
Any news regarding the...
And he always talks like this, for some reason. It's a little weird.
Yes, I think so. After talking to Mrs. Naumann, it seems like Hans Naumann was indeed innocent. The men were looking for his son, Jan Naumann. When they couldn't find Jan, they took Hans instead, the father.
I assume that's what Miss Naumann told you. But are you sure she is telling the truth?
According to the files, the man they were looking for had climbed up a flagpole, torn down a flag, and beaten up a block warden when he was caught in the act. Hans Naumann was 77 years old at the time. Of course, there are older men who are in good shape, but...
Pulling down a flag and beating someone up seems unlikely. I understand.
Yes.
I see, but why did the man take him, if they knew he was innocent?
According to Mrs. Naumann, they took him as a hostage. They were hoping his son, Jan, would surrender once he learned that they had his father.
Highly illegal, even back then. Not uncommon, though. But why did they shoot the old man?
His son didn't turn himself in as they demanded. They could have seen that as enough reason to kill their hostage.
Perhaps, but they hardly gave him enough time. Nonetheless, it is a case for us. For you, specifically. We need witnesses.
I'd start with the names mentioned in the files of the first investigation. I've already invited Hermann Kiebitz to join me later this afternoon.
Excellent. Let's get this case to court, Miss Katz. And be mindful of time. We do not have nearly enough of it here. Once you hear from all witnesses, we need to move to court quickly. Since you have never led a case before, I want you to be prepared. Mr. Peters has agreed to look over your shoulder and help you out. Present your findings, prove your claims. It will help you to familiarize yourself with the ins and outs of court. We cannot afford to fail at court, and preparation is the key to success.
I'll do what I can.
So yeah, it's actually pretty nice that the game has voiceover overall, or at all. But yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure about some of the choices there, but I guess they're doing their best there. I wouldn't be any better at all. And just wanted to mention Burkhard Klausner as Attorney General Fritz Bauer in The People vs. Fritz Bauer in the television movie. Well, I did a pretty great performance, so can really recommend that movie. Probably shows the same that we unfortunately will see here. The obstacles those people had to go through to trial those crimes. So yeah, it would actually be nice if there were kind of like goals displayed. I guess they chose not to, since the dialogue would give hints to what you do next. But maybe it's not that clear for me all of the time.
Who do I want to call?
Let's call Mr. Bauer again.
He's not picking up.
Damn it. I guess we will talk to her.
I should meet with Peters.
Let's meet with Peters. Where was Peters again? Maybe in the conference room?
What?
Always nonchalant. Like last time.
Bad time?
Not like there's any other. But yes.
Mr. Bauer told me we should work together.
Right. The court preparations. Paula has already given me the protocols of yesterday's interrogation. I haven't got around to reading it yet. But there is no point discussing it before you've met the witnesses anyway.
Peters.
Katz?
Thank you for thinking I'm a total beginner.
Oh, you're welcome. Someone has to do it, since Mr. Bauer apparently overestimates your abilities. And while we're at it, don't forget to bring some evidence. I don't want us to improvise the whole thing.
That's obvious, Peters.
Good. As soon as you think you're ready, come by and we'll get it over with. What does she want now? Yes, Paula.
Excuse me, Mr. Peters, but I have a message for Miss Katz.
I'm listening, Paula.
The witness you asked me to contact, Hermann Kiebitz, just arrived.
Thank you, Paula. I'll be right with him.
Let's start questioning Mr. Kiebitz in the conference room.
Good morning. My name is Esther Katz.
A pleasure, miss. Could you tell me how long I have to wait for the prosecutor?
Mr. Kiebitz, I'm the prosecutor here.
Oh, modern times, I guess. How long will this take?
I think I've seen that before. Probably wasn't a trailer. There haven't been that many trailers of the game. So maybe I actually played this at the last Gamescom. But we will see.
It will take as long as it takes.
It's all right, miss. I'm just asking.
Let's get started, shall we? This is about the arrest of Hans Naumann in Munich on April 28, 1945. According to a witness, 2 men picked up Mr. Naumann from his apartment. Were you one of them?
You're pretty, you know that?
Mr. Kiebitz, were you one of those men?
No, I wasn't. We drove to the house. Then our group leader and Mr. Schickert got out of the car to arrest the men. Then they tossed the old man into the car and headed to the district office.
The district office. Where was it located?
We just had moved it into the basement of an old brewery, still stuffed with beer bottles and barrels. District Leader Schwarz came out and gave the command.
What command? What did he say?
He ordered us to execute the man. Then he left. I felt uneasy. This wasn't right.
What were your local group's responsibilities in the very last days of the war?
We were responsible for all concerns and for many households within Munich. Above all, we tried to eliminate insurgencies. We followed group leader Falkman to the cell. There was tension.
This must be the cell. Was your local group in contact with other local groups?
Just in Bavaria, there were 28 local groups. We were in constant contact with them.
How did you ensure the energy supply?
The district struggled to produce enough energy. There were frequent power failures. For emergency, we had a generator. If worst came to worst, we used oil lamps.
Were there any other prisoners at that time?
Obviously, yes. We had to put the traitors somewhere. We adapted part of the storage rooms as cells. We all entered the cell.
Could you describe the cell?
Very basic. Mattress, window, chair.
What was Mr. Falkman doing?
Group leader Falkman seemed to hesitate. He shared my concerns about killing the old sod. He told us to wait. Yet Schickert insisted. He referred to that new order about dealing with insurgents. He was such a stickler for the rules. He could be really annoying about these things.
What did he say?
He insisted that any delay would constitute treason.
And treason must be reported, he said. The refusal to obey orders would be of interest for the Gestapo. Faced with this open threat of being denounced, we did not dare to act.
Were the compartments prepared to host prisoners?
Kind of. We adjusted them so our prisoner could stay there for interrogations and not get out. The tension was strong. Group leader Falkman ordered us to wait once more, but Schickert drew his gun and shot him.
So what you are saying is Schickert shot the old man against Mr. Faltman's order?
Exactly.
That's horrible.
These are brutal events you're getting to hear here. Are you sure you're up for it? Honestly, no one would think this is a job for a woman. What do you have to prove? I will file a formal complaint.
What would you like to complain about?
About talking to you instead of a real prosecutor.
I see. Well, if you think that's necessary, go ahead. Thank you for your time, Mr. Kibitz.
Goodbye, Miss Katz.
Got a real charmer there. So let's head back to our office
I have something for you.
in a bit.
So, I've done some digging beforehand
Yes?
and found something potentially useful for you. The brewery's blueprint. I put it in your office on the corkboard. I thought it might help you to have more of a physical understanding of the crime scene.
I think that will be it for now.
I hope it can help you with the preparations for Mr. Peters.
I'm sure it will. Thank you, Paula.
Yeah, I've definitely played this before. I don't know if it's part of the first demo or of a expo demo. So let's head to the wall. Build our theory. We can move the figures around to display their locations and assign them actions. And we got the statements right here to help us. Mr. Faltman and District Leader Schwartz stepped out into the hallway. Mr. Schwartz gave the order for execution. Yeah, it seems like they changed some of the gameplay and made it more accessible, I guess. I think this was more difficult to control in the previous demo that I played. Of course, I will build all of it. I think that's the first step, right? Mr. Faltman ordered Mr. Schickert. Follow him into the compartment where Mr. Naumann has held captive. Okay, probably. Always got the question right on top there. Faltman saw the victim and refused the order to go through with the execution. By his order. Schickert insisted that the order of a higher ranking member must be followed and threatened Mr. Faltman to report him to the Gestapo. Threatens? Yeah, it's very much straightforward here. Who shot Mr. Naumann? Schickert carried out the order and shot Mr. Naumann against Mr. Faltman's will. I saw it with my own eyes. Good. And that's it. Now we can probably see it play out. Yeah, this will get more complex and challenging over time, of course. I think it's a nice element to vary the gameplay from the usual deduction and dialogue-driven gameplay. So let's end this probably. Yeah.
I have my files. I think I'm ready for the meeting with Peters.
Peters was here. He doesn't have a sign there for some reason.
Honorable Miss Katz, would you be ready then?
I think so. How are we going to do that?
I will act as defense and court, and you will do your part.
But have you studied the case well enough to actually help me here?
Yes, I did. Some people have to take their work seriously, you know. Anyway, you present your prosecution, support your conclusions with evidence, and win the case. And I'm trying to stop you from doing just that. Should be a piece of cake. For one of us, at least.
So let's start presenting our theory to the court by pressing play. We need a tutorial. Is that the moment that I can change things? But I don't think I need to change things.
His execution was ordered by Herbert Schwarz, the district leader for the city of Munich. As the highest-ranking person involved, he bears the main responsibility for Mr. Normann's death. Mr. Schwarz is unfortunately deceased, and as such cannot be tried. This does not, however, absolve his subordinates of their culpability.
Objection. According to the witness statement, it was Mr. Schickert who gave the order. Can you support your claims with meaningful evidence?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. If you would take a look at this.
So now we got a proof that Mr. Schwarz gave the execution order. You probably also noticed this reference to Ace Attorney. Objection! I know if it's a reference, but yeah. So let's see. Probably the transcript we just heard. Or the testimony we just heard. That's probably it. Would be nice if I could underline it here. Oh, nice. That's it. Submit.
This document clearly states that it was Mr. Schwarz who gave the order.
Not bad cuts, but not great either. If that's all the prosecution can come up with, the case is as good as lost. Knowing the right answers is often not enough to win your case. You also need to form the right conclusions. Conclusions the court is willing to follow, because they are plausible. And because you can back them up with evidence. A valid conclusion is always based on several clues. The one clue we are very certain is true is that Schwarz gave the command. So your conclusion should be based on that. Open your case file and give it a go.
Feels like he's my instructor. Well, I just did that. Order the execution. The former prosecutor mentioned it in his discontinuation report. Add it as your first clue. Oh yeah. Wait. Oh yeah. What? That's a lot of text on one screen. But yeah, I guess it's pretty straightforward. Add 2 more clues. Find 2 more clues proving that the district gave the execution order. So well, we got the transcript from just now. And then one more. Maybe suspects. At least we can prove he was there. Is that good for something? I'm not sure. I'm unsure about this one. You can also bookmark certain items, that's quite useful. In the testimony we only have that one bit. We have this background, it's probably not useful. Would also be nice to have a search function for all of those documents, since we are now in the year 2024 and everything should be digitalized. And since it was all written by typewriter seemingly, we should be able to search through those texts. But I guess this is a more hands-on and challenging approach. Well, I don't see anything regarding Schwartz here, so probably the one that I picked is the right one. Let's hope.
Nah, this makes no sense.
Carried out according to the law enforced at the time of the crime. Ordered the execution. Different combination that can lead to a conclusion, but they must support each other. We only have one shot at the trial.
This doesn't work. Your task was to link further documents proving that Herbert Schwarz gave the order for the execution. Not whatever this is.
You're not helping.
You do better, court.
Yeah.
I understand.
Just don't support me at all.
Enough practice. Your case is waiting.
What is the right
Next time.
conclusion? No.
You should ask Paula to invite the next witness. There is still a
Right.
lot we don't know.
Next stop, Paula.
Okay. So we just go to court without knowing the right solution. It doesn't make any sense. Not sure about this. But what's the clue now that I missed? I guess we will not find out.
Miss Katz, how can I help you?
I need you to invite a potential witness.
Of course. Who should I reach out to?
Please invite Mr. Schickert next.
We'll reach out immediately. Oh, and there was a letter for you. I left it on your desk. Miss Katz.
Thank you, Paula. That will be
Here if you...
What? Let's have a look at that letter. That wasn't fan mail at all.
This is Esther Katz. Hello?
Whatever Kibitz told you, don't believe it. It's all a lie.
Like I've heard that words before.
Back then, everyone was an ardent Nazi. Now they all claim to have resisted, doubted, hesitated, to have said no. Trouble is, somebody must have said yes. But who tells the truth?
Okay, that was quick. So why could I even decide which witness to invite next when I can't really continue from that point? But I guess, yeah, that's more part of the first act that Kickstarter backers will be able to play from March 19th. Looking forward to play more. Like I said, gameplay seems to be more streamlined now. And I don't know why the FPS appear constantly on the lower right. At least the performance is very good. I probably can turn that off in the demo. Maybe it's also for the developers to see how good the game runs on Let's Plays. So yeah. Looking forward to play more with the Esther Katz and find out what happened to... Not exactly what happened to Naumann, but to trial the perpetrators. So the end part of the demo that wasn't part of the demo that I played previously. Nice to see some new scenes, but most of it actually played earlier, so looking forward to play not just tiny chunks and snippets of the game, but actually maybe the first act. Then the story will also be more coherent, I think. And maybe next week already we can cover that, would be nice. So thank you for watching and see you next time.